Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Carlene plus
Jaime.
We are so glad to be back.
Glad to be back.
It's been a while since we have occupied this space. I think it's been about a month or so, Jaime.
Yeah, it's probably been 4 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks since we sat on the couch.
Yes, and it is a new couch, as you all can see. The other green couch that we were known for is currently under construction.
Right. It's still around, but it's under construction right now.
Yes.
It's in the shop. So hopefully we'll get it back pretty soon.
Yes. And what's interestingly cool is that we're both wearing green.
Right.
Right. We didn't plan it at all. But it's so cool that we actually have the green on, I guess, in memory of the other couch. But nevertheless, this is an old couch of ours that we've had for years.
Yep.
And we have not used it ever, probably once in our house when we were in Dallas. And yeah, so it's here. It's not here for long. We actually are trying to put it up. We're not trying, but we're wanting to put it up on Facebook.
Yo, if you're watching and you like it and you want to buy it, you in the Atlanta area, come through. It's yours. We'll sell it to you.
Yes, absolutely. But once again, we missed being in this space. We missed the conversations that we had, that we have in this what we call sacred space of ours, where we are the mentors for the messy middle. And so again, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And
don't forget to hit the like, the subscribe, the share button. This is a new season, new couch, new episodes, but the same old Carlene and Jaime.
Yes.
That's dope. Right?
Yes. Okay. All right. And so we're going to go ahead and get started, right? Because we don't want to be too long in this space, because sometimes when you have been away so long that you kind of want to stay in their space.
Right.
But we want to hit it, quit it, and then come back with a part 2, because this is definitely a series of
hit it and quit it. Okay.
I can't tonight. Okay.
All right.
And so we just want to make sure that you all come back and join us again in another conversation on this topic. So the topic that we're talking about today is the shift that changed us. The shift that changed us. So we all know in marriage, in life in general, there are lots of shifts, right? There are lots of things that move, sometimes intentional and sometimes unintentional. But there are definitely shifts. There are definitely movements that happen in marriage. And so we're going to talk through a bit of the shift that changed our marriage. I would say for the better. In the thick of it, right? In the messiness of it, there were some times where we didn't know if it were for the better. Mm-hmm. But we hung in together, knowing that this is something that we both have committed ourselves to doing, right?
Right.
To constantly being committed to the process of the different changes that come in life, and how it affects. It may affect your marriage for the good and sometimes for the not so good.
Right.
So that's what this conversation essentially is about. And so we've been married for how long?
18 beautiful years.
I feel like it's 17. I feel like next year is 18.
Yes, 17 beautiful years.
Yeah, okay.
17.
Got him.
I was making sure you knew.
Okay. You sounded real confident.
No, because that's how you got to play the game.
Oh, there's a game.
Same.
Okay. All right. So in our 17 years of being married, what would you say or name the biggest change, right? So we have, do you think it would be kids, parenting, or our move from New York to Texas?
Oh, man. So I'm thinking about that question. I don't really know how to it's like different scales I would measure it on. Both are big, but I think having children, if you were to like to ask me to answer, if you asked me that question and I was supposed to answer real quick, then I would say children.
Okay. And if you had to think about it a little bit longer, what would you say?
I think if you were to ask the question, like, which one of the two, like, challenged us and helped us grow, then it was definitely moving from New York to Texas.
Okay. So that's good. I would agree with you. Parenting, for sure, that transition from being 2 years married into our marriage and experiencing the solitude of each other.
Right.
And then that huge transition of children.
Right.
Children, and for us, we had them back to back. They're just a year and 6 months apart. And so, even though that was something that we planned, we didn't necessarily plan for all the ebbs and flows of what that would bring for us.
And I think with me, with children was just accepting the fact that I'm a father now and I'm responsible for someone, right? Like I have a family. So
go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I think that shift for me mentally was major because, prior to that, it was just us, or before us, it was just me. So now that we have the responsibility of another human, like that was mind altering for me.
So do you think that shift of parenting was more a individual shift more than a together shift, even though there was a together, but if you were to weigh the two in terms of it affecting you as an individual, almost unearthing or just changing what you just shared, do you feel like that is more individual than like a together change?
Yeah, I think it was more of an individual than it was a together change.
I agree.
Yeah, because I had to mature, or I had to accept the role, or accept the role of being a father.
Yes.
Right. I had to accept that this is my new reality. So it was more of an individual change, even though we had to like adjust.
Oh, for sure.
Adjust sleep, adjust patterns and all that other stuff. But I know for me, it was definitely, I think I like kind of like grew up in that moment.
Yeah.
In the moment Caitlin was born. I mean, in your stomach, yes, but that reality of the person being here, that was like a grow up moment for me.
Because you think about children and you think about this is a constant. It doesn't stop. It doesn't end. Versus like if you move somewhere, right, you can always move back or move to, somewhere that's a little bit more comfortable. But children, it's a forever kind of responsibility that you have.
Yeah.
For me, I feel that children did more. It was more of an individual shift than it was a together shift. For me as a woman, I'm thinking about my body. I'm thinking about how literally nothing is the same. And sometimes even when I used to look at myself in the mirror, I could not recognize the woman because I'm just like, I'm excited. I'm thrilled to be able to be holding a baby and carrying a baby to term, and it's healthy and all 10 fingers, all 10 toes, right? But still also battling that internal shift of my body is not my own anymore, or what my body used to look like no longer looks this way, or the responsibility piece. Like I'm a mother, right? I think about my mom and how her role as a mom affected me and how it impacts how I now am able to mother our children, right? So it is an individual shift for sure.
Yeah, and I would, not to belabor the point, but I was thinking as you were talking and you mentioned it, for me that shift was also thinking about the fact that I'm responsible for either making or breaking this child. Like I'm responsible for this child's trajectory.
Yeah.
Like I can put so much trauma into this child's life. I could bring so much joy, heartache, pain, and more so, I'm thinking about not messing up.
Correct.
Like I don't want to mess up personally, right? So I think those things, like when you have a child and you're ready to accept that, when you truly want to accept the responsibility, I think I was really like coming to grips with that.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So shifts, it happens, right? It happens individually and it happens together. So let's switch now to kind of talking through a little bit about the shift that moved us, right? The shift that moved us from essentially from New York to Texas.
You're right.
Because that moved us.
Yeah.
In more ways that I am sometimes willing to accept.
Yeah. Well, number one, moving from New York to the South or moving from the North to the South is a big adjustment in itself. And I think just moving from New York City to the South is a big adjustment itself because New York is a whole different beast. It's an animal. It's fast paced. We have community there. Like I know New York like the back of my hand. Yes. New York City, like I'm out in Texas.
Yeah, you're not.
I'm lost. I don't know where to go. Left, right, north,
friends.
South. But if you throw me in New York, I tell you where to go, how to get there.
Yeah.
So that's already like that shift of fast to slow.
Yes, a fast to slow. You think also about cultures. You think about the accessibility or the lack of accessibility to transportation, to food, to just everything, right? In New York, everything is at your fingertips, literally, right? You can go on a corner and find whatever it is that you want in the bodega. You can hop on a train or a bus to get from point A to point B. You can taste just about every nationality's cuisine, right? It's just a hop and a ride away.
That and also too like you can find like different communities.
Right.
A community of your interest in New York. Like you just show up in Manhattan and there's like a whole bunch of fashion folk there.
Yes.
Show up in Manhattan, there's just people who like foodies. Like you just got that kind of buzz in New York City versus in Dallas. I don't remember finding that.
No, it's not as for sure. New York, I feel, is more dynamic. Again, we are New Yorkers, and for sure, people who are not from New York, they'll probably be like, maybe not.
Sucks
and
for
that's
you.
Okay. And that's okay. We respect that. But I definitely think that culture, right, of even the culture shift of the hustle and bustle, listening to crickets and nature noises opposed to listen to cars and sirens and all that stuff. That's a legit adjustment. Like nobody talks about it.
Couples arguing at 3 a.m. in the morning, a woman walking down the street prophesying and telling you to repent and give your heart to
all
Jesus.
of those things that comes with, the
all on the same street.
But again, when you have grown up in that, it becomes normal, right? And so that adjustment, and I think one of the biggest adjustments is the proximity to family, the proximity to, or the lack of proximity to family and support. And so that was something that was super hard, I know, for us in that adjustment, in that shift, in that we are basically by ourselves, right? We are by ourselves in a land that is unfamiliar, that we don't know. And, we tried to do the very best that we could in navigating, making decisions that we felt that were best at that time. But again, it was a move that moved us in ways that we did not anticipate.
Yeah, because we didn't know anybody in Texas, right?
We knew one person
we knew
in
one
Texas.
Person.
We knew one person in Texas, but you're literally going from all the family, all the friends, all the people are literally right there.
Right.
Then you go to, a place where you don't know anyone, like you're starting from scratch. We knew one person, but again, we're starting from the very beginning and building those relationships.
That's right. With a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old.
Yes.
Let's not forget that. With
a 2-year and a 1-year-old. And my trust for sure was not as it was now. So I had literally no trust, little to no trust in people and their ability to watch our kids or anything like that. Or even for me to kind of feel comfortable enough to be myself and to kind of embrace that. So again, we went from being to, like, I don't know.
Surviving.
That's a good word.
Just surviving. Just trying to make it day by day on one salary. And you home with 2 basically infants. Almost,
Toddlers. We were home with. I was home with the toddlers while you were adjusting to this role and the people, and you're really trying to make your role as the youth pastor, associate youth pastor. You wanted it to be amazing. We both wanted it to be amazing. And so that required for you to be in meetings, to kind of do all the things which came with the job, right? It's the expectation. Right. And you were doing that, and you were doing that well. But I know for me, I shouldn't say but, and I know for me, my experience was a lot different than yours, because I think I went from working and being a mom, working, juggling all those different roles, to just being solely mom.
Yeah.
And that was hard. And we have talked about it extensively in other episodes. And if you can go back to some of the episodes that we talked about at the very beginning of this show, Carlene plus Jaime, I went into essentially talking about my bout with depression and my anxiety, and having to finally going and getting a therapist, and how that therapist helped me process through this huge transition of moving from one place to another. Literally, like, it was almost like it was completely opposite than what I was accustomed to. Maybe if we moved to Maryland, or if we moved to Philadelphia, I don't know.
Yeah, because you can just get in a car and you can go back home. Versus Texas, you have to get in a plane to get back to family, or to get back to what you know.
Correct.
So we just had to really make it, and really make it in this new city, new people, new church. We're not known. We only know one person, so we had to make new friends. And then I'm out in the streets because, like you said, I'm trying to be a good pastor, good youth pastor, and I'm also like passionate about social justice. So every day I'm outside, I'm at a different meeting, I'm at a different rally, I'm at a different, whatever it can be, about doing community work, and as well pastoring, and just really trying to make sure that, I'm really like trying to make sure there's food on the table. Like, y'all are taken care of. And
basically,
y'all are good.
Basically.
So I'm out there hustling, grinding, traveling sometimes on weekends to go preach. I don't think
preaching,
was I doing Week of Prayers?
You were doing Week of Prayers, because at that point in time, you were using those preaching engagements to supplement income.
Right.
Because we were literally on one salary. And thank God,
one pastor salary. Let's remember that.
We love the Lord, and he heard our cry.
We were crying a lot.
But the Lord provided.
He sure did.
And we can always say, like, without a doubt, like, there was never a moment in time where we were hungry, or the kids went hungry, or our bills weren't paid. Like, that was definitely that was God and God alone. in how he provided for us. And so, but you were talking about like you doing preaching engagements, sometimes a week at a time, and like really out there hustling and trying to essentially ensure that we had what we needed to survive.
Right.
And while you were doing that, which I was so grateful for, I was dying.
Right.
Literally. But it was a turning point when I did decide to go to therapy. And that definitely helped to make sense of what it was that I was going through. And it definitely allowed me to process through. Because a lot of times I did not, because I was going to ask you, do you feel like it was balanced? To you, it felt like it was balanced.
Yeah.
But for me, well, I shouldn't say that. I should ask you, do you feel like it was balanced?
Yeah, I thought it was balanced because this was a decision that we both made, right? And for those that didn't watch the other episode, we prayed about it 3 times. I think 3 times I said no. And then on the 4th time, or maybe the third time.
No, the third time. 2 times you said no.
And the third time, we said yes. So being that was the case, I thought that we come in here thought that it would have been good. Now, when I was out there doing and working and church stuff, while you were home, I thought you were good.
Yes, because I know how to do that well.
Right, because you weren't sharing with me just kind of all of the things that you were going through. So I would say, yes, I thought we were fine. We were good. But I was actually maybe not paying enough attention or not hearing you when you'd speak. So, we'd come home. I think we'd go to the park sometimes. And so I'm thinking like, I'm trying to balance it. I'm working and I'm hanging out with my family. So, but I didn't know all of the intricate details about what you were going through while you were going through it.
Yeah. And noting that we only had one car.
That's right.
So when you were gone all day, it was just the girls and I home alone. And so, it's but so much sometimes I'm like, it's but so much, so many things that I could do. After the routine, it became very like mundane, just kind of like, okay, I need to do something. I need to find purpose, and of course I was also beginning to homeschool them where, teaching them and stuff like that, which was amazing, something that I've always wanted to do. But, like really being creative, trying to be creative and creating a space for them where they didn't sense what it was that I was going through or what I was feeling as their mom, just kind of really shielding them as much as possible from any of the depression that I was going through. So I would save face. I would do all the things from the outside, everyone. And I remember talking to people, I remember when we had that episode and we kind of talked about it with some people, and they were just like surprised, like, whoa, I didn't know, right? And that's the thing about depression. Like, it's really, I think they said blood pressure, like high blood pressure is like the silent killer. I feel like depression, like those kinds of things are like, they're silent.
They can lead to the high blood pressure and all the other stuff.
Yes, but I definitely think like the silence in that people who are depressed, like they have, sometimes I'm not a clinical psychologist or anything like that, but I know that when I was going through, I knew how to hide that well. I would smile, I would show up, I would do all the things, but, there were times or at night, I'm like, or even during the day, I would have a cry session, or I would literally have to like pray and call out to God and say, God, help me. Because it seemed as though like the thoughts in my head, like I'm responsible for these 2 human beings and I want to be the best mom that I can possibly be. But at the same time, I don't feel like I'm the best that I can possibly be because I feel stuck. I feel like I'm in this rut and I have no one there to express, to talk to fall, to kind of like open up myself to. You were doing your thing and I gave you time and space to do it. And I didn't want to burden you with that. You know what I mean?
Right. And it's
not fair that you get to hear about it or feel it later on that I definitely for sure should have been able to open up and say, yo, Jaime, I'm struggling. Like, I feel like I'm at my wit's end. I feel like the walls are literally closing in on me, and I don't want to be here anymore. But I couldn't do that because I knew in your transitioning, like, you were really trying to do the thing. And I felt better with knowing that at least one of us are doing something.
Right. And I think it's also, so I think we should let people know we were, 7 years? How long were we married? It's about 10 years ago. That's about 13 years ago.
So we were 5 years.
5 years. So we were 5 years into our marriage. I don't think we had the tools that we have now.
No. Back
then, we were still new at this. And then I also want to say that I believe that a part of the reason you probably didn't tell me, and because we didn't have the tools back then, but then I can assume that you're saying like this is God's work, right? Like the reason why we moved here
That's good.
was because we felt like this is where the Lord wanted us.
That's good.
So all of what you're going through, you can't say anything really negative because this is God's work.
This is God's is God's leading. This is God's purpose and God's thing, right?
Right. And so I want to say that even for me, whatever you're going through, or even if I didn't know, like in my brain, I think you're good because this is God's plan, right? So this is God's will. This is what we prayed about. So you should be okay, because this is all part of it. So I think like that's a part of the youthfulness in our marriage without having the tools. And that's why like the shift that, shifted us is moving is much more bigger than just picking up and going to another state. There's a lot that needs to, like, if we could, I would probably say if we could go back and do 13 years ago, we probably would not move to Texas if we knew what we were going to expect.
No.
Yeah.
And as you were just making that point about the, feeling like because this is God's will for our lives that that all should be well.
Right.
And that was something that was immature in my, spiritual walk where I didn't feel that if you are walking in God's purpose, in God's will, and you're walking in God's path for you, then I'm not saying that all is going to be well all the time, but I shouldn't be going through this right here, right? I shouldn't be dealing or literally fighting for my life, because why would God place me here to kill me? Right. And so that was a really good point that I'm so glad that you brought up.
Yeah. And I think that a lot of pastoral, and it's clear too that in Adventist work, I'll say that because we are probably one of the few denominations that moves pastors around and we move from state to state, that you sometimes have to sacrifice, the spouse has to sacrifice themselves,
right,
whether male or female, on behalf of that calling that the conference or whatever you move to is saying, so you have to go wherever I go, or you have to follow. So it's not even like you have a choice per se in some of the moves that are made. And we throw it out there as this is part of God's plan. This is part of God's will. You even know, like ordination, right? When we look at when the ordination service is like it's the pastor and then the spouse is behind. And so it's almost like a training or embedding within you to make you feel like if I say anything negative, or if I appear to be negative, or if I appear to even express myself in a way that, will probably bring me down or the spouse down, then I'm going against what God's plan is.
And it's also bringing dishonor to you.
Oh, yeah.
And it's bringing dishonor. If it's bringing dishonor to you, then for sure it must bring dishonor to God.
Right.
And so I did not want to go against that for sure, because it's you're a man of you're doing the Lord's work.
Right.
And so that definitely was, let me tell you something. That move to Texas was definitely, if I compare it to parenting versus the move, I would say that move to Texas like completely did a number on me. And now I don't want to say that it was all bad, because I definitely think just like the rose that grew in the concrete, like I truly believe that where you have beauty for ashes, like there was a harvest and then there was reaping, right? Like those are all things that I can attribute to that move. I don't think I'm the same woman I was when we left New York. I'm not the same. Mm-hmm. I don't think we're the same.
Nope.
I don't think our marriage is the same,
right.
Because of that. And, I think what is something that I find helpful, and sometimes when you're going through different shifts in life or marriage, it's so helpful that even though there are times where things are messy, where things just feel as though it's dark and you don't feel like there is light at the end of the tunnel, that you can still hold on to why I held on to why you and I are in this together.
Yeah, our why.
Our why. Knowing that Romans 8:31 says, if God be for us, who can be against us? It was literally us against the world. And although difficult at times, we for sure hung in there together, knowing that, yes, it is dark and it's dirty and it's messy and it does not feel good, but we knew that this was like something that we were going to do together.
Right. I think we were always committed to each other. Mm-hmm. We just were missing each other.
Yeah.
And I think that happens in marriages where you get so consumed with life. Like your job essentially became a home, what do they call it? Homemaker?
Homemaker.
Right?
Hometaker. I don't think it's a home taker.
Yeah, homemaker.
Uh-huh.
Watching the kids. And my job was go out and pastor. Mm-hmm. And I think I got so busy with the pastoring part that I kind of overlooked the family part, even though I thought I was doing the family part well.
Yes.
And I think like the tools to express ourselves, the tools to talk, because there were moments when you would have your anxiety attacks and I was hopeless.
Very much so.
I had no clue what to do. Mm-hmm. I didn't know what to say. I was paralyzed, right? Like, mm-hmm. So.
Or even when there were moments where like I think there were moments where I would have, because it's but so much I could kind of hold inside for so long.
Right.
And there would be moments where I would kind of like share with you what I'm going through. I think it was one time I was just like, I wanted to hang out with a friend, and the friend wasn't able to meet up to hang out. And when I tell you, I was I was in a place where I was just like, I just want to go and talk to someone that's not Jaime. I just not talk my business, right, or talk anything, but just to kind of feel like Carlene again. And when that person, unfortunately, they weren't able to, I think you were there. Do you remember where I just fell down to my knees and I just bawled, and you looked at me like, yo, yeah, what is good?
It's like, it's just a person. I'm here.
You were like, yo, what's good? Like, it's okay. Like, you try to talk me down
right
off of it. But I think in those moments, like, you tried your very best with what you had. Mm-hmm. And I think I'm giving you credit. I would like to give you credit for, and grace in knowing that if you did have the tools, or if you did have the things that you needed to help me through that, I know for sure, hands down, you would be there. Right. To do that.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, once again, like, we're going to be doing this series and we're going to be going through some other shifts that we faced as a couple and our different moves and what was happening in between those moves. Some of you who know us, you probably know some of those things. Some of you who don't, that are new to the channel, you'll learn a few things. But moves and marriage and adjusting are real things. They can make or break you. And you have to really count the cost when it comes to leaving one state to go to another state.
Yeah, for sure. You have to definitely try as much. Of course, there's no perfect what's the word I'm looking for?
Silver lining.
No, there's no perfect way or to try to
blueprint.
there's no perfect blueprint of like, oh, make sure you do this and make sure you do that. But I definitely think there are some basic things that you should talk through as a couple just to ensure that you're both on the very same page and you kind of work through different scenarios and possibly those outcomes, but also leaving yourself open to things happening.
Right. Yeah.
It won't be perfect.
Stuff happens.
It does. And it definitely does. So I think this has been a wonderful start to this topic on this topic on basically what happens when what happens when there's a shift and when that shift changes you individually as well as your marriage. And so we can't wait to come back next week and talk through some more shifts that we've experienced as a couple. But I could definitely say, looking back, I definitely think that those moves forced us to grow up, not only individually, but together as a couple. And man, my last question to you is, do you feel as though if you had to do it again, would you experience this shift again? Do you feel like it was worth it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think it was worth it. I think it was some hard lessons learned, but definitely worth it. I think we grew out of it. I think it brought us closer. I think it tested our marriage. I think it also developed our children. And I think it definitely, not just for our marriage, but I think it also did something for you because you never moved from New York. You always lived in New York versus I went to Massachusetts and Andrew. So I think that was good for you, for your development. But now moving again, that's something to be tossed up in the air. Only because of now our kids are older. Yeah. And
for sure. Yeah. I wasn't talking about moving again though.
Right. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, if it was to happen, like,
gotcha.
It would definitely be a hard no at first, but we'd have to talk about it.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that's good to know. That's good to know that what your thoughts are regarding, like, if you were to do this again, what would that look?
Yeah. What about you?
I would say yes and no.
Okay.
Yes and no. I would lean more on the no. But I would say yes or no because there were definitely some beautiful things that did come out of that, friendships and experiences and, realizations and awakenings, right, that transpired while we were in Texas. I feel like I was liberated. There was a lot of liberation happening in Texas for sure. But I definitely, I would be like in the middle for sure. I wouldn't say yay or nay. I would say for the friendships, yes. For us, what we experienced and I guess us really seeing each other, yes.
Yeah.
For the other stuff, nah.
Not so much.
But sometimes you have to go through those in order to feel, to see things and how it always, we're always becoming. And so those things kind of like you always talk about, like when you're being squeezed, or when your back is up against the wall and you experience almost like a diamond, right?
Right.
Those are all pressure, and those things create beautiful outcomes. And so yeah, that would be my long answer to your question. But please know, family and friends that are watching, we truly appreciate you spending this, how long? Maybe a little bit more than 30 minutes with us as we talked through this shift. We ask that if you have not yet subscribed to Carlene plus Jaime, we ask that you will do us a solid and hit that subscribe button. We truly appreciate the subscribers and also the followers that we've had on Instagram, which we're grateful for. And so thank you again for joining us. We hope that you guys have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. We love y'all. This is your girl, Carlene.
It's your boy, Jaime.
Peace.